Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
It's time for a podcast. This is Crimes Against Folk. Thanks for stopping by, folks.
Yay.
Thanks for giving us your ears and your eyeballs.
Yay.
How you doing, Ash?
I'm good. I'm in Arizona.
Oh, you are. That's right.
Yeah. I came here to do a few shows, with Stephanie, and
Yeah.
we played a little bit in Cave Creek. We did Raven's View and Grotto and a new place in Scottsdale. So it was fun. What's weird though is yesterday I was on my way to the gig and I started getting a migraine and I took my prescription strength medicine and it just wasn't really working.
Right.
And so on my way to the gig, Stephanie messages me and goes, "I can't make the gig. I have a migraine." And I was like, well, that's weird. And I was like, okay, well, the medicine should kick in. I should be fine. It didn't. So I got to the gig and I really suffered through like the first 30 minutes. Like, I really don't know how I did it. And then I went and I laid down in my car for like an hour. And they were so cool about it because I guess the manager gets migraines, so she gets it. And then it just went away finally. So I just played like an hour and a half at the end and then everyone was cool with it. But it really wasn't very much fun.
Was the weather maybe to blame? It's been getting warmer here lately, so.
Yeah, it's getting warmer here. I think there was like a low atmosphere layer of clouds going on, so that could have something to do with it. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. But anyway, other than that, I'm great. How are you, Ed?
Pretty good. I am 2 days away from full immunity, so the scientists say.
Ooh.
And so
What are you gonna do? I mean, I know, but tell everyone else what you're going to do.
I don't know if it's going to be the first thing, but it's the first major thing I want to do is I want to go to a cat cafe.
Yeah, you do.
And there's one that is, there's one, they're not open yet, but they're somewhere in Phoenix, I think I forget where it is, but there's one that's opening up soon that seems really cool. It's like an outdoor cat cafe. So it sounds pretty awesome.
Nice.
And I'm really excited because throughout the pandemic, like kitten videos and cat video accounts have pretty much been one of the only things keeping me sane throughout this whole thing.
Well, that seems like a good way to celebrate your freedom.
Yeah, and it's always good because you're supporting, cat cafes are great because they really do help get a lot of cats neutered and out, like neutered and spayed and back into good people's homes, I think. They really work well with adoptions.
Yeah.
And they also, it's such a better experience too. Like if you're in there with the cats for, an hour or two, I think you really get to see which one you might bond with if you're looking for one to adopt. I think it's a much better experience, not to knock what Humane Society and other shelters are doing, but I think it can be a better experience for some people to adopt from. So I like to support places like that.
Yeah, that is really nice. It's such a cool concept.
Yeah.
And what Ed's trying to say is he's coming home with a cat.
No. but I will at least get to see cats in real life. So that'll be nice instead of just on Instagram.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Before we get started, we want to thank our sponsor, EV.
Yay.
They were kind enough to provide us with these RE20 black microphones to level up our podcasting game.
They're so great.
And our recording game too. We use these in our personal recordings as well, and they're fantastic.
I know. I love both the vocal and guitar sound I get out of these.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I tried recording a guitar with it once too, like doing a one mic recording with guitar and vocal, and it sounded great.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I wasn't expecting it to.
Yeah.
It actually sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to learn more about the wonderful products that Electro Voice offers, go to electrovoice.com. And we also want to thank our patrons whose direct support keeps this podcast in the air on the iPods. I know a bunch of you still have iPods.
What?
I still have an iPod.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I still have an iPod. I'm not going
Okay.
to lie.
No judgment.
I can't charge it anymore, but I still have one.
Oh, actually, I think I still have one somewhere too that I also cannot charge.
But we really are so appreciative of what our patrons do to support us, and we offer a lot of cool bonus videos on our Patreon page. So if you'd like to become a supporter of the podcast, head to patreon.com/crimesagainstfolk to learn more. And today we have a guest today.
An awesome guest.
Yeah, incredible.
I am
guest.
so excited we were able to get Jeff Berkley on the show today.
Yeah, I know you were particularly excited.
Yeah,
And,
well, Jeff is an amazing musician
Yeah.
and producer who's got some really, really, really cool stuff. We were really lucky to wait. Were we on the show? Yeah, we were on that show, Randy Driscoll's Dan Jingle Ball with them, right?
I believe so.
With
Yeah.
Berkeley Hart, and
Yep.
we did we got to chat with them. They're just both the nicest guys, and yeah, amazing that we even got to be on the same stage as these guys because they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I asked Jeff if he wanted to be on the show, and he said yes, and we got really lucky. So
Woohoo! All right. Well, let's bring him on, shall we?
let's do it.
All right. One second. Let me toggle everything here.
Oh, not yet.
Da-da. Wait, where am I at here? Okay, there we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello. What? It's a magic trick.
What? I can't see what's happening yet.
Should we do it again for you? We could do it again.
Oh no! I'm
No, she's
lucky.
just on
I've
a
got
delay.
Yeah, I've got a delay, so I actually caught it right at the perfect time.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Wow.
We just
okay.
figured out we have 2 green screens, and so my buddy Jason, whose house I'm at, we built this little area in his garage. He lets me do my live stream kind of stuff from in on the property, and so he and my girlfriend Kibria was on the other side, and they had the thing, and they just lowered it. It's very, very high tech.
I was a little worried because I thought, oh no, is his green screen filter messing up?
I completely realized that as I'm waiting behind the green screen with my stupid trick going, I probably just, but you just went with it. It was amazing. So that's a performer. You knew instinctively.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's going to be cool.
So
We'll
this
go with
is-
that.
This is Jeff Berkley, musician, producer, and magician.
Yes. Right?
So many things.
That's awesome. How you doing, Jeff?
Well, I'm doing really well. It's good to see you guys again.
Yeah.
Was it really the jingle ball, Randy's damn jingle ball that we did last time? Is that the last time I saw you guys in person?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
I'm
be the
pretty
one.
sure.
And except for I was telling Jeff earlier when we had a quick conversation before the podcast, and I was telling him how I had moved to Ramona about a year ago, and it was like the most depressing thing ever because not moving to Ramona is great, but there was this big billboard up as you enter Ramona for the Ramona main stage, and it was it was up there forever. Like it took them like 8 months to take this billboard down, and on the billboard was a lineup of all the shows that were supposed to happen but didn't during COVID.
Oh.
And
Oh
one
my
of them,
God, torture.
yeah, it really was. And one of them was Berkeley Heart, and it was supposed to be like March 20th, and I moved there in June, and I'm like, I know that show didn't happen because everything
Well,
shut down.
We're notorious for making people cry at our concerts, and so it even stretches into not playing at all. We just put on a billboard long enough, and you can cry every time you drive past it.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
just like the worst of my, like, oh, yep, none of these shows happen, and there's Berkeley Heart. Oh, there's Berkeley Heart again.
They were going to
Every
be,
day.
but no, they're not. We get it. Big band Parliament.
Someone take, yeah, exactly. Like, someone take this billboard down, please.
Did they?
I'm so
reschedule
impressed
that?
right now that you guys got the Chevy Chase movie reference that I just made because,
Right.
Yeah, well,
you know, that's
Giving
all I
away our
did as a
age.
child was just watch those movies over and over again. I have them committed to memory, and I'd slip them into conversations at will.
Did,
I look
did
forward to
they?
more of
Did they wind up rescheduling that for you?
oh, good question.
Not yet. That's
Not
one
yet.
of the things that I think is on the table right now for Berkeley Heart coming
Yeah, I
up.
hope so.
Oh, good, because that's right in
Yeah.
my backyard, so I'll be there.
Cool. Well, that's great. Yeah, if you're there, bring your guitar. 'Cause
Okay.
We make people do stuff.
I like doing stuff.
We make you work for
Wait
your
a
right to
minute.
see us in concert.
That's right. You're not just getting in just willy nilly. You have to come in and work. We might need a break.
That's
You up
true.
there. No, it's cool. We look forward to. I like that venue. It's nice.
I haven't been to it.
It's really nice inside. It's also the old Ramona Theater.
Uh-huh.
And when I was a kid, I spent parts of the summer up there with my Aunt Frankie, who still lives there. And we would go to the Ramona Theater in the middle of the day to go watch movies, obviously. And now it's turned into this venue that I play at every once in a while. So it's kind of bizarre, kind of being up there and
That's
around
kind of cool.
that town. I love that little town. It's such a great spot. And it hasn't really changed too much in the past years that I've been alive. 20 plus
Yeah,
years.
just 20.
20 plus. That's my age.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, Ramona is a really cool place. And you said you had your first show back, what, yesterday?
It was yesterday, which is, as we're doing this is May 2nd. So it was yesterday, May 1st. And we played, there's this really great venue out in the east part of San Diego in a little tiny it's way smaller than Ramona. Ramona is a thriving metropolis compared to Flynn Springs.
Oh,
But they have this little place that I spent a lot of time in Texas. Berkeley Heart do pretty well there. So we've been around there a lot. And Texas venues are these big outdoor places surrounded by a big wooden fence, sort of like a carport, giant carport with Christmas lights strung around. And they kind of made this place. It's called the Grand Old Barbecue, and they kind of wanted to make it vibe like an Austin place because they wanted the music to be the focus of it. And so they've got bands playing original music and artists of all kinds playing original music there. And then also incredible barbecue and a bar. Also, it's all ages. They've got an outdoor area where kids can play and stuff. And
nice.
it was great. It was really, really amazing. We had a really fun show. When I play solo, sometimes I have this great band play with me that I kind of put together from being around San Diego long enough to know who to call. And
yeah.
Yeah.
all these guys kind of love the same music I do. So they come and back me up on my songs, and we had a really, really great time. And it was, I was surprised how emotional I got at in the first few lines. I decided maybe it'd be cool to open with Willie Nelson's On the Road Again.
Nice.
The life I love is making music with my friends, and I couldn't, I choked on the first few lines. I had to stand back and take a breath before coming in again, because I was really emotional. It was a long time. Nobody's ever told me you can't play a gig.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understood why, and I was behind 100% what needed to be done. But I never had that feeling before. So the live streams really helped me get over that feeling, but it sure was nice to be back in front of people. It's amazing how much the looks on their faces really inspire the band, and it was really great looking around, having my buddies with me and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, I think that the pandemic kind of shell shocked a lot of performers because they're like, well, this is what I do. What do you mean I can't do this thing anymore? And it's like it was performing music and like stand-up comedy and theater and all this stuff. Like it only mostly exists in places that are prime super spreader events. Like it's like exclusively happens in those places. So it's like
it's the point. It's the whole point to
Yeah.
share the space with a lot of people and share the experience. That's what it's all about.
I think a lot of us got kind of blindsided by that, even though so I understand how that would be emotional. Like, oh wow, I haven't gotten to do this in almost a year or over a year.
The monetary part was scary for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I was expecting to worry about that, and but
Yeah.
after a month or so of no touring and no live gigs, and the studio was closed for 12 weeks, right at the beginning of COVID, I just started to flip out a little bit. My brain just kind of turned upside down, and I talked to a lot of people who had the same experience, and it's just what happens to artists when you don't have that outlet.
Yeah.
We're so needy. We just have to have people there to reflect off of and know who we are somehow. I don't know, but it sure is it's good to be back.
And
for sure.
the live thing in particular, I mean, Ed and I, one of the many reasons we started a podcast is because the live streaming our shows, it just wasn't the same. And in fact, it was a little bit disheartening because, there's no applause. There's no, I mean, you get the hand claps and the comments, but it's just kind of deflating in a lot of ways. So we were like, well, let's do the live podcast instead of a live show. And it's also something we wanted to do for a long time. So that's partly why this came about. But had you been doing any live streaming or did you feel the same?
All year. Yeah. In fact, they're all up on my Facebook site and even up on my YouTube page. If you go subscribe to my YouTube page, there's a bunch of shows up there that I did. And at first it was just, I was at home. It was about, I guess, a month and a half, 2 months in, and I had to do something. And I started to, you were seeing people, I knew what a live stream was, but
Yeah.
I had no idea that you could figure out a way to use good microphones and a good camera and all that stuff. And slowly but surely, if you watch the history of my live streams, and it's about a year of them once a week, you can see, first I'm just barely on my phone, and I figured out how to use my audio interface to make my microphones work on it. And then I ordered a smoke machine because I was raised in the 80s playing music, and I wanted a smoke machine. I also got a bubble machine.
Whoa.
Not as good inside.
Okay.
Just leaves these little rings of soap everywhere.
Oh, right. That's disappointing.
Yeah, it's
didn't think about that.
not as cool as you might think. Your guitar, everything, it's popping on your face when you're trying to sing. So the bubble machine just went outside. We live in a really groovy neighborhood in San Diego called Ocean Beach.
Uh-huh.
So we just turned the bubble machine on outside, and people would just come to our house, go to the bubbles. It's that kind of neighborhood.
That's funny.
But slowly but surely, I got a green screen, and I got just way more stuff. A few lights, kind of Amazon lasers, I call them, like they're $12.95 that go in your room to trip out on when you're a stoner or whatever. And so we got those, and the smoke machine looked really cool with those. And then it was too big for my living room. All of a sudden, I was having to move all the furniture once a week. And then I asked some friends of mine, Jason and Veronica Cox, if I could use their space instead of mine. And so I said, it'll just be my iPhone and a couple guitars. It's really not a big deal. And if you can get on and watch our last one, because we kind of stopped doing them because live music's coming back. But if you watch the last one we did, it's serious. It's like a Pink Floyd show. There's 5 cameras. I'm not even kidding. We bought like these light trees, and we got more lasers. We got a legit laser that when you turn it on, this thing goes so you're not looking at it. And yet, I'm not kidding. The last one we did, there's lasers shooting over my head. We just didn't have the flying pig, but everything else. And it's folk music, like I'm playing, and it's lasers. And
that sounds amazing.
So it's great though. It's really fun, and people really enjoyed it.
I'm on your YouTube page right now, and I'm just looking at the thumbnails, going, "Wow, he's not exaggerating."
No,
I'm gonna share it in the chat.
My buddy Jason Cox is an amazing photographer and amazing videographer, and he knows how to design lighting. And so once the weather was warm enough, we went outside and got rid of the green screen, and he lit up his whole backyard with lasers and shit. It's just the smoke machine. Like I'll be telling some real folky story, and all of a sudden it's like a Cure concert for a second,
Awesome.
I love it. That sound, when you're in a band in the 80s and your hair's up from hairspray and you're wearing makeup and like all sorts of metal bits and black everywhere, and you hear the smoke machine sound, that's the sound of rock and roll when you're on stage.
Are you going to bring that to your live shows? Are you going to start doing that?
I don't know how I can possibly not do that now that I have all these things.
Yeah.
I can't just leave them sitting around. Can
Right.
you imagine the first coffee house I go to?
Oh man.
Or like a house concert?
House concert.
I'm just gonna wheel in my rig. Will you guys hold on? Beep, beep.
Bring
It'll
the
be
bubble
like,
machine.
Oh,
Though.
these cameras are for the big screen that we have behind us. Yeah.
So
I'm
you're
gonna do it.
a folk musician, is that right?
Yeah. Well, we call it super folk. Yeah, no, I'm going to do it. Now that you said it, I'm losing money every minute I don't bring that.
No, because I don't know of anybody else, especially in the folk space, who's doing this right now. I think you are the vanguard.
I think
of this.
I'm going to book you for a house concert just so I can see this happen.
I'm already getting gigs.
Yep. One.
You can call it pink folk.
Yes,
Ooh.
absolutely.
You heard it here first, folks. We're going to make dozens of dollars because there's not enough money in folk music to be able to pay for that kind of show. It's like they never would have been able to do arenas if they had been a folk band.
That's true.
That's true. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's my backyard.
That's right. I think you're right. I think there's a new Pink Floyd in town. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
ready.
amazing. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. You
How
guys can
has,
come play keyboard in the band.
Can I
Nice.
do
We're going to need
guitar?
several synthesizer players.
Yeah, keyboard. You're right, Ash. Keyboard and guitar.
Definitely.
We need both.
Guitar. Everybody plays
both.
guitar.
Yeah.
There's no keyboard. There's
no
just 6
guitars.
guitar players on stage.
Dancing
One
in
guy that's just
unison.
like, right?
Yep.
And then every once in a while, there's like somebody who just goes. That'll be you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll do that for free.
Good, because there won't be any money. You know how to make $1 million in folk music, right?
No.
You start out with 2 million.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a folk joke.
I
You
know.
weren't ready
It hurt
for
a little bit.
They have to hurt. Folk jokes have to hurt a tiny bit.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, where do we go from here?
I don't know. I was just going to say, I think this podcast is over.
What was
We're
the question?
done.
I was going to ask, how has it affected your songwriting at all? Not in the terms of not necessarily in terms of what you write about, but in
Right.
terms of like how or your productivity, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, it did. In a couple different ways. Mostly, I was able to just sit and be still a lot more during the pandemic, which I haven't been able to do as much. It takes you have to wear a lot of hats to be a full-time musician, to make that be your income. You have to be able to do a lot of things in the music world. And mostly as folk musicians, just because we are our own infrastructure,
Yeah.
So we're kind of making our own records and we're promoting them and booking our own gigs and all that stuff. So once all that kind of settled down, and that feeling of, for better or for worse, social media has allowed us to see what all of our friends are doing in the music business too.
Yeah.
And so I know you guys are the same way, even if you don't admit it. You see other people doing stuff and you're like, oh, I got to get on it and get out there. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Totally.
That went away, that feeling, that impending thing. And it just, all that was left was to sit and play guitar and write down your ideas. And so I started to write a little bit more. At first I couldn't write at all. But it just, because just didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But after a while I started to write, and I even now have a whole phone file full of, lyrics and melodies. I don't know if you guys use your memo app on your phones to make, I call them memo demos.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's where I've got a ton of those that are a verse or a chorus or a couple things, and you start to add to them and give them names, and that's been great. I've been really loving that, and I've been noticing that I've been writing songs, not on purpose, but songs about wanting to be out on the road again. I have a new one called Wanderlust. I just miss it so bad, and we have such a blast. But we're starting to book shows coming up in June and September and October, out on the road, getting out there. So
That's amazing.
that's exciting.
Awesome.
And you have new music coming out for both the solo and the duo, or
Yep,
is that right?
Yep. Yeah, I do. I've got, the first thing that's going to come out is a kind of a reinterpretation of This Land Is Your Land, where I did it in a minor key, sort of not as hopeful, and in a way it is hopeful, but really what it's kind of meant to do is, and there's a video that's going to go along with it made by my buddy Jason Cox, and it kind of is a mirror sort of a thing, like this land is your land and my land, and this is who we are, and we better get to work because we got work to do, kind of thing. And I think Woody's version was a little bit like that too.
Yeah.
But it was sung in schools, and it's a little bit corny, but when Woody was playing that music, it was punk rock. It affected people the same way the Sex Pistols affected people, and it was punk rock, man. And so I wanted to kind of bring a little bit of that angst back to the song, and a little bit of that conviction back to it. And I literally got the idea one afternoon when I was already at the studio, and I had a guitar plugged in, and I just went for it. We were talking about hollow body guitars before the show. I have a really cool ES335, and I plugged that in, and that's a Gibson hollow body, and I had a microphone already going, and literally just threw this thing down, me and my guitar, live. And so that's going to come out on a little label called Pacific Records, which is out of San Diego, and they're really great independent label, and they've got a lot of great artists. You should check them out.
Cool.
Also on Pacific Records, I've got a new record coming out called Under the Covers.
Oh, nice.
Which is me doing duets of cover songs that meant a lot to me coming up, just songs that I chose because of that. And then I chose people to do duets with from San Diego that are friends of mine in the music scene. So it's called Under the Covers, and there's a lot of really great covers on there. I do Heroes on there with Rebecca Jade, David Bowie's song Heroes.
Yeah.
And I actually do 2 David Bowie songs. The other David Bowie song is Under Pressure.
Oh, nice.
And I do that with Veronica May, who sings Freddie Mercury's part.
Nice.
And it's ridiculous. It's so good. She just kills it. And there's everything on there. I did Isn't It a Pity, the George Harrison song with Lauren Lee Martin, and just so much great stuff on there. We even did a B-52 song called Private Idaho that I love, and an Elvis Costello song, and just songs that really meant a ton to me for all sorts of different reasons. It's a really, really, really fun record that I'm really proud of, and that'll be coming out early in the summer, also on Pacific Records. And then we've got a Berkeley Heart project in the works that I actually literally can't even talk too much about, but it's
Nice.
it's really exciting. And something is going to, people are going to be stoked with it. I think Berkeley Heart fans, and hopefully a lot of new Berkeley Heart fans too. That's also coming out on Pacific Records, which is a new kind of business relationship we started this year during the pandemic.
Oh, nice.
So
Very
it's been
cool.
kind of crazy. We got a little record deal, and all we have to
Wow.
do is we buy 13 records at the regular price, and we get the last one for a penny.
Oh,
It's a great record deal. It's great.
That is a deal. I will say
That's
that.
an old folk joke. Are you guys okay? Sorry, I know I got two of them in there now. And
We're used to it.
yeah, I know you're growing weary.
We're
I can tell.
transitioning into that kind of phase where the folk jokes. I mean, and I'm a bass player, so I'm already kind of numbed to bad jokes and
Yep.
and not even self-deprecating jokes, just deprecating jokes.
Oh, you've had to sit through hours of stage time of tuning and bad joke telling.
Yeah.
Hours, because the bass doesn't go out of tune. You're ready for the next song. You don't have a capo.
that's so true.
You're ready.
Yeah.
I never hear the bass go out of tune.
Yeah.
No,
You don't
they
hear
don't.
the
They're
bass player like
built
sit there
solid.
and fiddle and go, "Oh, excuse me, guys, hold on."
Oh, yeah.
Like, that
No, a
doesn't
bass
happen.
is built like a tank, and a fiddle is built like one of those little balsa wood airplanes that you'd buy at the liquor store.
Yeah.
That would break as soon. Sometimes when you were putting it together, it would snap in half. There's a difference.
Yeah,
gosh.
we went to England with our violinist one year for a big UK tour, and she flew with two bows, and yes, she loosened the strings, and we got there, and there was just like both bows were just completely useless.
Oh, yeah.
And and we had to find this, just like anyone who would sell her a bow for pretty cheap. You know, I think were we in Scotland at this point?
I think we were in Wales.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
There's
We
like
were in
nobody in Wales. So,
Welsh bows are renowned. They're the best Welsh bows.
yeah, you
I've
just
heard that.
Drive 3 hours to the next town, but
Oh
we
my
got
God.
so lucky. And I can't remember how we came. I don't even know why I'm telling you guys this story. You just talked about fiddle players. That made me think of this.
Oh man, I get it. I was in a band with a fiddle player for 13 years, and I was a djembe player, which is an African drum with a goat skin stretched
Yeah.
across it. And I toured with for 25 years as a touring percussionist playing djembe. And man, that thing is so susceptible to all sorts of different weather and stuff. I've gotten off airplanes several times where the head was popped, the goat skin had
Ooh.
popped, and you have
Oh,
to
wow.
just try finding a goat skin in Toronto. I mean, it's just not. So I had a really great company that worked with me that was shipping djembes out to me overnight.
Wow.
When my djembe would pop, it was crazy. But I know how it feels. And the fiddle player, violinist, I should say, had a lot of issues too. Like, in Texas, it's so there's so much moisture in the air, and it's so
Yeah.
humid that
Yep.
everything just goes crazy. Or if it's dry or whatever it is.
Well, yeah,
Amazing.
in Wales, we got really lucky because I think we found this person on Google Maps, and they were just in the middle of nowhere, Wales, and they happened to be there was a violin luthier in the
That's
middle of nowhere,
amazing.
Wales. That was like maybe an hour away from where we were.
Yeah, like on the way to the next gig.
On the way, and they had bows there. I think for what, like 50 or 60 pounds.
yeah, something like that.
It was stupid cheap, and
That's a very heavy bow.
yeah.
60 pounds? She must have been really
very
strong.
She's very strong, and it still works as far as I know.
Sure, the violin is in shreds, but the bow is amazing. Sorry.
Yeah, well, she flew over with the most expensive bows ever, and those break,
Oh,
and
boy.
then she gets the like cheapo bow in Wales. That thing is still working.
Yeah.
Go figure.
It just blows my mind. I'm old, and when we started on the road, there was no Google. Nobody. We didn't have phones and stuff, and we just covered wagons and the horse. But
On the Oregon Trail.
I remember spending hours and hours just looking for coffee sometimes, like from little town to little town along some Highway 40 out in the middle of nowhere, like across the panhandle of Texas or something.
Ooh.
And now you just, get your Starbucks app. I almost said Star Wars app. I have one of those too.
'Tis the season.
That's the best.
Yes, it's coming up. It's 2 days away.
It is.
Oh.
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, we even have
It sounds like I have a lift, but it's not. Right? May the 4th. It's great. So anyway, but now we can just Google. You can find a bow repair shop in the middle of Wales.
Yeah.
Never been there, and it's the best. It's just
It's amazing.
You literally can find anything you want as you're getting towards the exit. We do that all the time when we're on the road. We'll decide, well, I guess we need to get some coffee, and you could be nothing around, but you can find it. You can just find it.
Oh, we
Either
do the
you
same
gotta
thing.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Don't do it while you're driving.
Well, no, Ashley
Do
usually
that,
does
and
it
also
'cause
don't
I'm
watch
driving.
movies
Yeah.
or television
Yeah.
while you're driving when it's right here, and you turn it sideways, and you can watch Wheel of Fortune on your way home from the studio.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that, because I would.
It's
Never
very
do that.
specific, Jeff, but yeah.
I just was a scenario that popped into my head.
Any other show is fine, but Wheel of Fortune, don't
Jeopardy, for sure, you don't want to watch. You can't drive and answer in the form of a question. It's hard. It's too much multitasking. Like playing pedal steel or something.
That would be
Sorry.
dangerous.
I had coffee. Can you tell?
Did you use Google Maps to get it?
Yes, I probably did. It's empty. Oh,
Is it
don't show that.
Starbucks?
It's empty.
Not sponsored by.
You guys, we should start a company where we buy an old ice cream truck and we put an espresso machine on it and call it Carbucks.
There's
And
gotta be that.
You could play folk music through the speaker just like 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning and sell $50 cappuccinos. People won't care. You're right outside their house.
That's
I'm
true.
gonna need you guys to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
That goes for everybody in chat too. You
Everyone
sign
who's
one, too.
listening, I have patented this idea now, and nobody. It goes up there with my idea for a ride service that sells weed called Duber. Because I think you would make millions of dollars, and if you stopped at burrito places too.
Yep.
It's too bad that you're in folk music because you'd be a millionaire with these ideas.
I feel like if I just had budget, just some kind of do you guys want to invest in my company? I should go on that Shark Tank thing
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
with my
I almost
Duber
feel
idea.
like you're auditioning for Nathan For You right now. You're just with these amazing ideas that you're
What's
pitching.
that? What's Nathan For You?
Come on, don't you know what Nathan For You is?
It's an amazing
No.
TV show.
All the kids know what it is.
Jeff, what is it?
It's Nathan, and
Yep.
it's just for you.
Cool.
For you.
It's a TV show where this comedian, he goes to businesses and he pitches them really terrible ideas, and he actually goes and does them.
sounds amazing.
Do you guys remember the? I think this was him. Do you guys remember the fake Starbucks thing way back when? It was like it's like several years ago.
No.
It was like a fake Starbucks pop-up shop that popped up. I think that was him, and it was like it was huge. Like people were lined up 2 blocks.
Oh my
for this
God.
for this fake.
And did he do
Starbucks.
funny things when they would order or
I
something?
think
or was
so. I can't remember exactly, but I know it was
gotcha.
like, I think that was him. But he does like it's almost like a prank show, but you kind of don't know. So it's kind of funny. That was what I
Cool.
was thinking of when you were
the sort of
pitching this.
Borat like where it's kind of uncomfortable but you can't turn away?
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha.
But it's
Yeah,
also
those are-
real. It's also he's really doing
He's
it.
really
It's
doing
a
the things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
That's
could
awesome.
get
actually doing
punched. It could happen.
them. Yeah,
Well, there you go.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to kind of iron stomach to watch it because it is a little cringe. It's like, ugh.
Cringeworthy. Yeah, sure.
Okay, well maybe.
That's
We'll
great.
see.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I was thinking of. I'm like, oh man, he's coming up with these great ideas.
Well, I just need investors. If you're out there and you've got disposable income, I have a place you can dispose of it.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry about the music.
Music.
Ideas.
Yeah. I think if yeah, maybe we should combine folk music with dispensaries. Right?
I'm
trying to think if that
I'm
would
surprised it
work.
hasn't happened yet.
I feel like it's really already a combination that just doesn't need to go spoken of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
it's just-
got to be dispensaries that have done concerts, though. Wouldn't you think? Maybe not.
I feel like they should have gotten into that, but they're not stupid. They're making money hand over fist. They're not going to start wasting it putting on folk shows.
Yeah, true. But you know what you could do? And you can take this idea, Jeff. You should get a dispensary to sponsor you. And I'm serious.
That would be more likely.
I wish that you were the first person to tell me this,
Well,
but I have a bit of a reputation for the thing you're talking about.
well, we picked that up in the last 40 minutes.
Have I mentioned it a couple times? Shoot. Yeah. Or was it, were you watching me while I was waiting for the show to start?
No, you were behind your magic curtain.
Yeah, I was behind my magic curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think I should definitely do that.
Well, they
I
probably
could-
would do it.
give
They
me-
could sponsor you musically or even the studio, you know? I don't know. It's just.
They could. Well, yeah, that is where a lot of marijuana does get consumed at the studio. It is. It's a great way to sort of forget about the 4 hours of setting up and why the guitar is buzzing and all that stuff. And then when it's time to play music, you're like, and you need sometimes just, even if it's just fresh air, just at that moment, you just need something to sort of reset. If you have the money, it's great to be able to set up like all day one day and then go home and go to bed.
Right.
Yeah.
Come back the next day and everything's working supposedly. And
Supposedly.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of money.
well, a lot of
not
people
yet.
don't. It's an expensive game recording in a proper recording studio with the kind of what they call industry standard gear, the stuff that gets the sound that we're all used to hearing on records.
Well,
Yeah.
what is the name of your studio so I can throw it in the
Well,
in the
I have
chat
a
here?
production company called Berkley Sound. It's just my name, Jeff
Ooh.
Berkley. Berkley Sound, Berkley Sound.
That's a good name for a sound company.
Thank you very much. It's just me. I'm the company, and wherever I work is Berkley Sound. But the past few years, I've been working out of a studio that's up in the North County of San Diego it's in the middle of an orchard. It's an avocado orchard and bananas and coffee, and it's on Jason Mraz's property, and it's his building, and we brought gear in there, and it's a building he had built to be a studio, and he invited us to bring our studio gear and move it in there. And I made a few records for him in the meantime. I've been there 3 years now.
Wow.
I've also made about 40 records for San Diego artists since I've been there. And it's beautiful. We can record there with the doors open. And it's quiet. If you don't mind a bird or two on your recording. It's got, booths and isolation, and there's a Neve console, and it's just beautiful. All the microphones you want. And so we had all this gear, but the big studio rooms were few and far between in San Diego. They're all kind of closing down. There's only a couple really that are still going. And because everybody's got a way to record something in their house.
Yeah.
It may not sound like it does when you record in what I call a proper studio. I had a home studio for 20 years. I made 300 records in bedrooms before I ever got to a proper recording studio. So I have nothing against home studios, and I mix things all the time that people have tracked at their house, and they send them to me to mix, because it's at that point you really need to be able to critically hear exactly what's happening. So I have a good environment for that. And so I love home studios, but it's not going to sound necessarily like it might if you go into a proper studio. Then again, most people listen to music on their laptop speakers or their iPhone speakers.
Yeah.
Almost everybody I know. So I'm not sure how much I'm I'm probably saying the wrong thing for a record producer, but it's all still about the vibe, man. You know, if
Yeah.
you can catch something that comes back through the speakers when people hear it and makes them experience what you want them to experience, or something you didn't even expect, that's really what it's all about. That's what I'm gunning for to this day. And I think why people come to me, because I try and create an environment where people can do that, you know. So
Yeah.
that can be done in a recording studio, it can be done in a home, it can be done in a church building or a garage or outside on a stage, wherever you can make it happen, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I know we have a mutual friend, Lisa Sanders, and you produced an album for her a little
did.
while ago.
Oh.
And it's beautiful. I love that album.
Well,
And played
you
it for
know,
friends who feel
it's
the
pretty-
same.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she etched the record with the songs she wrote, and
Yeah.
she chose a couple cool covers too. And all I had to do was paint by numbers, kind of. It just the songs are so great, and with her, you just build a nice fluffy cushion for her voice to just sit on top of her, and Brown Sugar, Karen's voice,
Yeah.
to sit on top of. That's just, it's not rocket surgery, as I say. You just you get people in the room who know how to do that. And my job as a producer, it happens way before we get to the room. It's if there's rehearsals and arrangement involved, that can happen, but mostly my job is to bring in the people that know how to do the thing we want done.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just
Right.
sit over in the corner and hit record. You know.
Right.
Yeah, the more
Right.
the easier you can make your job up front, the better it's going to be, just hands down.
Pre-production, they call it. I call it just, you know, getting the right folks so that it sounds like you want it to sound. And there is a lot of working out the stuff, but I like to do that with everybody in the room, you know. The bass player may have some unique insight that we weren't thinking about, you know what I mean?
They usually
Yeah.
It's
do.
not likely, but he might. No, I'm just kidding. That was for you.
Oh, that was a dig on
No,
Ed.
this is how rehearsals with musicians are. You guys know it as well as I do.
Yeah.
So much fun. That was one of the things I missed the most, just going through rehearsals with my band and giving each other a bunch of crap and having a blast. And
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
guy passed out, but it's all cool. He's okay now.
All right.
It's
Glad he's
cool.
alive.
I wish I was kidding.
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
It's all right.
can imagine it.
He's all good now.
Well, I can't wait to hear that. When does the Jason Mraz album you produced
Well,
come out?
I made one before the pandemic with him called Look for the Good. And that's been out. You can go listen to that now. And it's basically, I even co-wrote the title track with him. I got a line in,
Oh, cool.
in the song. And that was an amazing story too. The studio shares the same space with his office. In fact, his office is the keyboard room because all the keyboards are in there. So it's another isolation room, and he's very generous with letting us use it. But he was in there writing, and I was in the other room just doing file management. So usually I don't hear what's going on in there when they're doing stuff, but this time I did. And Jason and I know each other from the old Java Joe's days. That's how we met 30 years ago.
Wow.
And we've written songs together and hung out a lot. And, so the bathroom is also in his office. It's in a separate room.
Okay.
It's not just in his office. But I needed to use the restroom, and so I walked past him, and they were doing that thing as songwriters do, where they were just singing syllables with a melody over and over. They were singing the line before, which they had, but they didn't have the last line
Yep.
to this song called Look for the Good. And I went into the bathroom, and I was in there, and sitting on the toilet in the back was a little square picture frame thing, and it said, it always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela. At the same time, I hear through the door them going dun 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 dun,
Oh.
over
I
and
just
over
heard it.
again while I'm peeing. And so I turned around. I mean, I cleaned up. I went outside with the thing. I didn't say a word, but just as I walked past, I put the picture on the piano. where he and Chaska were writing. And I went into the other room and I hear this cheer behind me like a minute later. And it was and that's the line you hear in the song today. So it's amazing. And they even shared publishing on it with me, which all I did was pee. It was like,
Well, what about Nelson Mandela? Did they share it with him?
Yeah, I'm sure they did. They put his name, of course. But I kind of helped write that song. But
That's great.
it's an album called Look for the Good, and it's out. You guys can find it, and it's really fun. Jason's always been really inspired by reggae.
Yeah.
And he's a huge reggae fan. That's what he listens to, it seems like, at home whenever I hear him listen to music, And so he brought in this guy named Michael Goldwasser, who produced all sorts of amazing reggae records, including this one called Dub Side of the Moon, which is reggae versions of.
Oh,
nice.
Is that the Easy All Stars, whoever that is?
Yes, that's his band. That's
I
Michael.
love that band. They're amazing.
So he came and he brought in a bunch of people. Jason knew some people as well. Literally, the world's best reggae musicians all came out, and it was 13 people at one time. Everybody, backing vocalists, the whole deal.
You track all at once?
That was a year and a half ago. We tracked everything at once. And we
nice.
it's amazing. Very little overdubbing on that.
Cool.
And so once it was safe again here, and we could do, that place has a lot of isolation, and people are nowhere near each other, and the doors are all open and stuff. So what he did was put together a bunch of his hit songs that everybody loves already with this reggae band.
Oh,
Reggae
nice.
versions of them, and they're all really cool. So that's about to come out, and that's what we just kind of finished. So it was
That
really
sounds so cool.
yeah, really fun, and it's a great space for that kind of recording, especially where everybody's just all at once. You can see each other through the glass and different windows throughout the place, and you get a good isolation, and it's a good vibey place to do live tracks where everybody's there. And really what you do is you spend the time hanging out, working out the song.
Yeah.
And then you just cut it.
Yeah.
It's done. Everybody played the part right because they heard everybody else's part coming back, and it all, the way you play off each other. When you overdub, sometimes you don't have the ability to listen to the other player. Either they're playing before you or they're playing after you, and there is no human interaction
see them.
there.
Like you can't see or like interact with them physically, really, in the space.
You can interact if you're overdubbing or playing later to a track that's already been laid down. You as a player are the only one interacting. At that point, the person or the people that made the track before, that's all there, and it is what it is. Now it's up to you to find your spot in there. And sometimes I think things can get lost that way, and there are other times when it's a great idea to do it that way, and that's the way you probably ought to do it, because you need to take care with each step and know exactly what's going to happen, knowing what the next step is yourself and that kind of thing. And there's been a lot of producers like Prince who would do their records that way and just be in a studio by themselves grooving, just making stuff up. That's a fun way to go too.
So you prefer to track at live or like everyone at once?
I come from live music. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And so I've spent a lot of years learning how to groove on stage and play with other people. And once you get to that place, at least personally, I don't know if other people think that, but once I was to a place where that felt comfortable, I kind of felt like I probably ought to try and do that in the studio too. And it's paid off for me. My record, I have a solo record called Whorehouse, Hot Sauce, and Souvenirs. And it comes from a sign outside of Pahrump, Nevada. It says, next exit, brothel, hot sauce, and souvenir shop.
Nice.
And so I changed it to Whorehouse because poetry, right? But it's my record, and we recorded it in a huge studio, everybody at one time, and there's horns and a choir at one point, and the band itself was 9 pieces with everybody, and I actually played and sang sitting at the console in the control room.
Nice.
While everybody else was all around the studio, and it has a live feel. You can feel it on the record.
I get that because I've done some live recording. I worked a little bit at a place called the Nashville Jazz Workshop.
Oh, cool.
And one of the coolest places in Nashville. If you're ever there, you should
Nashville
absolutely
jazz.
visit.
You don't ever hear those two words together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like some of the best players you'll ever see do gigs there. And so it was kind of easy for me because everybody was good. But also it was amazing just to kind of capture everything live. It was a good education in like just capturing a live recording. And
Yeah.
feeling that it was better, like we don't do our stuff. We don't do ours that way typically, but
Because we haven't had a chance to. No, first of all.
it's
Well, that's
scheduling,
part of it.
really.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we Ed's an engineer and he engineers all of our EPs and
Oh, cool.
yeah, well, and then we kind of produce them together, but we but that's kind of out of like necessity because we don't have very much money to spend on our recordings.
Right.
So so we piece it together, but we do. Yeah, I remember. I mean, I've tracked a lot of albums and Nashville. That's mostly how they do it there, and that's where Ed and I met and
Out
kind
of
of come
money
from that world.
necessity. Just
Yep.
the less hours in the studio overdubbing if you do it all at once.
Yeah, and that's very true, huh? It probably is if you have like the space to do it. But we've done our last EP, we recorded it. We be on tour and we'd stop in Illinois for 2 days and take over an Airbnb and kind of record there, and then we
Set up
do
and
the
do
same
it.
in
A
Washington.
lot of records are done that way. And
Yeah.
you kind of hit on something when you said about not having the dough to go into a big studio and spend a lot of time and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's not, the music business has changed. It's still just as expensive to have a big studio and all that gear and for us to go in to those studios and make records. It still costs the same as it did 20 years ago.
yeah,
Only you can't sell records for the same as you used to be able to.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
actually free. You can't even, it's just people can find your records for free, and that's the way it is. It's just that's the way it is. People don't even have a CD player anymore,
But you're right. You're still spending the same amount of money to make the if you're on like in the big leagues, you're still spending
Yeah.
the same amount of money in the studio to make the thing that people are getting for free. You're right.
Yeah. So you got to figure out ways to get the music out there that do generate an income, and it's okay to make money on music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of us artists have this thing like it feels dirty somehow to make money on our art, and not everybody. I got over it. But I did at first. It took me a while to realize it was cool to go ahead and charge, and and a lot of that's gone away, man. And we have to make our money playing gigs, or maybe we get a song in a movie, right,
Yeah.
or a TV show or something. That's a really good way to make some dough. If you get like 4 million streams on Spotify, you can make some money.
Okay, that seems
But-
reasonable.
Yeah, that's about what it takes though to really see any kind of
Oh yeah.
a substantial amount of money. And even then there's a weird algorithm and curve that I don't understand for those that it's the wild, wild west publishing wise. Your stuff can just be used and given away, and that's the way it is. It has to generate some other thing. So that's where Duber comes in. I've already started doing it, just giving my friends rides and rolling them a joint on the way. Just $10, but it's worth it for me. I put a little bit of gas money.
That's how you make money in the music industry anymore.
God, I'm not sure how we're going to do it. We're going to have to figure it out really soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had live gigs still. That was like that's what we always kind of landed on, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I mean, you're a producer and that you've got that going, but for us, it was always like, well, I guess we'll just play it. We know we got to pay this bill. I guess we'll just book another show. And now, and the last year, it's been like,
Yeah.
now what?
Well, luckily the live streams got me through that tough time, and people were tipping and stuff that I just couldn't. Seriously, there were months I wasn't going to make it without that.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
doing it once a week,
Yeah.
and I paid my bills that way for 8 months probably of the pandemic before things picked back up. People realized that it was safe at my studio, and
Yeah.
they felt safe coming up there, and I
That's
felt safe
good.
having them, and Jason felt safe having them around. And
Great.
all that, just took a while for us to figure out what was okay and what wasn't, and we're still figuring it out in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the gig I did yesterday, everybody was safe. They only let a certain amount of people in at a time, and everybody was just so thankful to be there, that nobody was being a punk, everybody was being cool, and they were families and stuff. It was just a beautiful day, and it was sure wonderful to be out and about and hear live music energy. Just, I forget the power of rock and roll, it's just amazing to feel all that energy coming. I stand in front of the drummer, and there's amps that are just throwing all that stuff at you, and I've got pedal steel and keyboards and 2 guitars and percussion and drums and bass, and it's really fun.
That's
really
so cool.
Yeah.
So when's the next one?
The next show?
Yeah.
That's what we're in the middle of finding out right now. So if you go to berkeleyheart.com, you're going to find that Berkeley Heart have some shows coming up on the road. And so check those out. I think there's a tour in June, and then there's one September, October coming up. I also play in a band called Tim Flannery and the Lunatic Fringe. I'm one of the lead guitar players in this band, and he was on the Padres. Tim Flannery was the second baseman of the Padres for a while, and then he became a coach, and he was the third base coach for the San Francisco Giants when they won 3 rings. And so we tour around wherever the Giants are famous. They know who Tim is, and they come out in droves to see him. He's an amazing songwriter.
Really?
And, yeah, and the band is incredible. It's amazing. The other guitar player in the band is a guy named Doug Pettibone, who plays with Lucinda Williams and John Mayer. And
oh, wow.
Anyway, everybody in the band is an artist and songwriter, and Tim is this great guy, and we have a blast. So those shows are opening back up again, and I'll get more solo shows. My solo shows are ones I do kind of catch can when I'm not in the middle of producing or touring with Berkeley Heart or Tim Flannery, or sometimes with Lisa or Veronica May. And so I'll get some of those on the books. Now that I've got this band, it's like a Ferrari. I don't want to keep it in the garage. I want to take it out and go speed on it,
Yeah.
And because they're just this incredible lineup of musicians. So all that can be found at jeffberkley.com. And you can find all the Berkeley Heart stuff, all my production stuff, all my solo stuff. Everything's up there. And I would love for you to come check me out and send me an email or find me on Facebook. You can just find me. I think you guys have the info. I emailed it. Maybe you can, I forget the links, but find me out there and come say hi and let's hang out. We'll come play at your house.
Yeah.
With lasers.
With the lasers.
Please, with the lasers.
Oh, lasers are on their way. I'm already packing them up. We're going to buy a case for them. Ooh, a chance to get more gear.
Yeah, right?
There you
Oh, so bad.
You're going to need a bus.
I even love the cases that you carry the gear in.
Yeah, but not stands. Stands are the worst.
Stands are the worst. When they fall.
Oh, God.
You ever had them when it's a little loose and you're trying to tighten it, but then it slips and it pinches this part of your finger?
Oh,
You get the blood blister.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
absolute worst.
Or then
Stupid
when you're
stands.
playing, you don't know it's stripping and it's stripping, and it's like very, very slowly throughout like the song. It just starts
all of a
going.
sudden in the middle of the song and you're like,
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
Yes, I've been in that gig as well. I have a couple of those stands.
Tape them up, duct tape.
I won't. I'm not going to stand for that.
But also, there's no good way to carry them in. I mean, we used to have like stand bags. We were all like,
Are you ready?
stand
I'm going
bags
to give
would
you
break.
the secret. I'm going to give you the secret to carrying mic stands. You ready?
I'm ready.
Every thrift store has an old golf bag
Oh,
for like $3. And a buddy of mine, this guy named Nucci, who's now the drummer of the English Beat, if you remember the English Beat.
yeah.
Nucci's 2 big drum hacks were he would use the rugs from outside of hotels,
Yeah.
like at 3 a.m. He'd just go snap. And so he'd show up to the gig and lay out a rug that was red and said Marriott. Right? But then the other thing was he kept all of his cymbal stands in a golf bag. Oh, and they're made exactly for that. They have a padded thing. It goes up over your shoulder.
Yeah.
You get in and you turn it upside down and they fall out. It's crazy. So that's the way you do mic stands.
Well,
I
and
think.
some of them even have covers. So like they would normally cover the club head. So
You get
could
like
cover...
Tiger Woods things for your golf for your mic stands,
Yeah.
like little tiger heads.
little socks. Yeah.
Little people can knit you things for them. Cozies.
Aw,
Oh, mic stand cozies.
that's what you do with cozies.
There
Wait,
you go.
that's a great idea, actually. I
Like
like
when you
it.
said that, I immediately felt really dumb because I'm like, that's the most obvious thing that
Right.
anyone could have ever come up with to carry mic
I know.
stands.
That's exactly how I felt when I saw him walking. I'm like, "Ah, come on. And it was, it was a huge epiphany to me too.
Yeah.
I 25 years into a music career, and that's when I discovered it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Definitely doing that.
definitely.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've literally
Thank you for
been
that.
throwing them in my car because I just gave up. Like I don't even break them down. Like the mic stands, I break down most of the way, but like my guitar stand, like forget about it. I just
Yeah.
just in the music stand, I used to like take the head off and then fold it. Like no, just wink in the car. That's the sound it
Yeah.
makes when I put it in the car. Wink.
I don't even bring guitar stands with me anymore because all I'm doing with guitar stands is feeding the guitar stand industry because I'll buy them, I'll go do one gig and it's gone. I'll just forget it. I don't know why, but it's the same with guitar stands. There's no case that you have that those go in.
Yeah.
It's not part of anything. So,
Yeah, everyone
real
always
music
needs them.
talk for real musicians.
That was
what this
like,
is.
so I used to host this songwriter night in Nashville, and that was the one thing that people left behind the most.
Yep.
Guitar stands. Once or
Guitar
twice
stands.
they'd leave their guitars, which I found very interesting.
Right. Which is why I stopped bringing guitar stands to gigs because every venue ends up with 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or like 7, or especially those
Yeah.
venues with the green rooms. You'll see like 7 broken guitar stands in the back that they just like. I don't know why they don't throw them out, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. They don't. They don't throw them out.
No, there's always the one with the broken handle for tightening that never tightens, but they keep it. So like that's the one. If you're the last one to the gig, that's the one you get.
Yeah.
It leans weird.
It
You're like,
doesn't-
I think I'll just lean it on the monitor. It's cool. Thanks.
But they're like, look, we have it though. You're like, well, no.
And you
don't.
said you heard people left their guitar?
Yeah, once or twice I'd get a call and be like,
Whoa.
Ashley,
Free
left-
guitar. That's crazy. I don't know. Actually, there was one night, now that I think about it, talking about that ES335 Gibson that I mentioned.
Uh-huh.
I had that and a cool old 70s Fender Deluxe. Mm-hmm. And just as I was about to load it in my car after a gig on a busy street, I got into a conversation and I forgot to load it in. And it was just like, okay, good night. We'll see you later.
Oh,
I just got in my
no.
car and drove away. And 20 minutes later, as I'm pulling up to my house, I realized I left it sitting there. So I called somebody that was still at the gig that I knew was hanging out. And they ran outside just as someone was picking up and walking away with them.
Whoa.
And they had said it was on Adams Avenue in San Diego, right?
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Normal
Oh,
Heights
that
area,
is
which
so
you wouldn't even
lucky.
believe it. Right there by the old Adams Avenue Theater at
Normal
Lestat's.
Heights.
Oh,
the
in the Lestats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right out in front of Lestat's is where I left this priceless guitar and amplifier just sitting there. And it took about 25 minutes before somebody decided, okay, I'm going to go grab it.
All right, San
Wow.
Diego. 20,
pretty good.
25-minute delay. Yeah, that's
That's
cool.
pretty good.
Respectable.
That's an honest, it took 25 minutes for someone crooked to walk by. That's
Yeah.
not bad, you know?
I didn't
Yeah.
know there was a 25-minute rule in San Diego.
That's right. So guys, you can just leave your instruments on the street for 25 minutes. I've done the research. It's a
Set the timer.
full
Sample size of one.
scientific study. Yeah. Yeah. What we ought to do is attach really powerful drone helicopters to our gear
Yeah.
that know how to fly home.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be good.
See, I'm full. I just need budget.
Right.
You guys put together some money already? Because, geez, I'm ready to go.
Well, and that's extra great because I'm immediately going to all the like horror stories I've had with flying with my guitar on airplanes. And so if you could just put it on a drone and just get it to go, like you get in the airplane and you set the thing and go, okay, get my guitar to where I'm going. It's probably going to get there safely than the airline
Well,
would get it there.
Let's be honest then and go a little further. If you trust your guitar with a drone, why not just strap yourself to it?
Yeah.
Just fly
Good
your
point.
own drone. You got a little thing right here, and you just zzz, that's a helicopter or a jetpack, basically. Now you've got a jetpack.
That is a
Now
helicopter.
you've attached yourself to a giant saw. Not a good idea.
Yeah. Do we
I
have to
went too
gas
far.
it up?
It's not a bad
Yeah,
way to
what
go.
if you were, yeah. I went
Then
too
you
far.
breathe. Then you gotta breathe.
Right,
breathing.
breathing.
It's overrated.
Okay.
You gotta worry about some limbs. I guess you gotta worry about that with the guitar too.
Right, holding your guitar all that time would be really hard. You have your guitar and your amp,
Oh,
one in
yeah.
each hand.
Oh, man.
Oh, I just got to get over Oklahoma and I'll land. My God.
Oh, well, now what? We've
I know
done
I
it
have
again.
that effect on a lot of people.
Well, we are kind of running short on time. So I wanted to leave you with this question because this is something I've started asking people on the podcast, and I think it's kind of an interesting question. Not a personality test or anything, so don't get your Myers-Briggs papers out. But
Okay.
what's the first memory you have of driving? Whether you were doing
Whoa.
it or maybe you were learning how to do it or whatever. What's your first
I've
memory of
never
that?
gotten that question before. That's a new one. My first memory of driving was my mom. She's, please, police, don't. She didn't mean anything bad.
I think we're outside
She's
of the
just trying to
statute of
teach me.
limitations.
No, she, when I was probably about 6 or 7,
Yeah.
she had a manual transmission, and I was really interested in what she was doing when she was shifting gears. And so she explained to me, well, that's how the car moves. You start out in first gear, and then you have to switch to the next gears to get more speed and more speed as you need it. And then you can use them to slow down too. And she taught me that pretty early on, and I kind of got it. And so from when I was probably about 6 or 7 until I was about 48. No, I'm kidding. Till I was probably 10 or 11 or 12, maybe, when I thought it wasn't cool anymore. She would let me shift.
No
And she'd say, when
kidding.
you see me push in the clutch, this is the clutch. When I push that in, it's time to go to the next gear. If we're slowing down, then you want to go to the gear under it. And when it's reverse, you really got to look for it and find out where it is. And I would shift all of our driving everywhere we went. And then
What?
I think when I was about 12 or 13, yeah, we used to travel every year across country to Missouri, which is where a lot of my family is, or Georgia. There's a lot of them there too. And out in the desert where there was, like, up on Highway 40, like after Flagstaff, but before, like out near Winslow, like
Yep.
before, the painted
Yep.
desert and all that. She would just let me drive. For a
Whoa,
while.
cool.
Yeah. And so,
Coolest mom
she would
ever.
pass out from fear, and I would just drive for hours. No, I was actually a really great driver. I remember my mom distinctively saying, "It's okay to speed up, honey." But that's so cool that you made me. That's a really great memory. That's amazing. My Uncle Jimmy also, in Missouri, I'd go spend parts of the summer there. And not long after my mom started teaching me to shift, he taught me how to drive in reverse. He said, if you want the back end to go to the left, you turn the wheel to the left. If you want the back end to go to the right, and I drove his truck backwards a bunch that summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
I was 8 or 9,
8 or
maybe
9.
7, 8, like right in there, just really young. I had to lean way forward to reach the pedals, and but I could barely do it. And you know, he would take me like out in a meadow
Yeah.
where there were
Yeah.
no trees, and I could, you know, just start and stop, and there was no mud to get stuck in her. And it was Missouri in the Ozarks in southern Missouri.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Ed's from St. Louis.
From St. Louis.
Oh, okay. It's almost a different state up there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've been to,
they're
like,
down there
Springfield
near
and stuff.
near Springfield in a town called Mansfield, Missouri, which is where Laura Ingalls Wilder's last
That's
resting
right.
place was.
That's right.
Oh,
See, hillbillies.
yeah.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, that's such a nice memory. That sounds so sweet. Like, yeah, your mom's really cool.
That is cool.
She is. She's a great lady. She is a great lady.
Yeah.
And I talk to her almost every other day or so, and she's really brilliant and really, really funny, which is why I tell jokes a lot, I think, is because she just has always been really funny. There's always been humor around the house, and
You
she loves
are
music
funny.
too.
I love that.
thank
I
you.
love that in your live performance too. I mean, the first time I saw you Berkeley Hart was perform was at Randy Driscoll's Damn Jingle Ball the year before I played it with you guys. I went to the show, and I remember just absolutely loving your set and the story. I'll never forget. It was Dear John, John Deere, and the way that you told this story. It just killed me. I was laughing so hard because I was like, how did they get to this point of Dear John, John Deere, and the way that you told it was amazing. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a song on the latest Berkeley Hart record.
Oh, cool.
Called While the Night is Still Young. And it was just, I have a keychain holder in my house that's a John Deere keychain holder. It's supposed to kind of look Americana. I think I bought it in some gift shop somewhere along the way. And it's just sort of a tractor-y keychain holder.
Nice.
But in the mirror across the way, it said, even though the letters are backwards, instead of Dear John, instead of John Deere, it said Dear John in the mirror. So I'm like, Dear John, John Deere, what could that mean? So Calman Hart, my partner in Berkeley Hart, I had him come over, and we decided that it was a song about he promised he'd stop drinking, and he didn't do it. And so she's going to write him a Dear John letter in the cornfield with his tractor. And so that's the song. She writes a Dear John, and it ends up being just 2 letters.
How do you just get there?
That's pretty brilliant.
Just talking it out and trying to come up with the wildest, funniest, cleverest thing. If you put your mind to something and spend every hour of your life for several years. No, I'm kidding. We just spent an afternoon, and then, you know, we came up with an idea, and then it's lots of emails or texts back and forth. What if? And she does, and what if it's, and oh, wow, this is great. Check it out. Oh, we should probably get rid of that part. But then, you know, and then you edit it and you get it all right. And then you get together again and try it and make a memo demo, and that's it. And we wanted it to sound like a Beat Farmers song. If you guys have ever heard of the Beat Farmers, they were San Diego legends. And so actually Joey Harris, one of the Beat Farmers, played lead guitar on the track on the record. And
Oh, cool.
it's just really fun. Really, 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 really fun song. You guys check it out. We're doing a video for that too as soon as film crews are allowed to be film crews again. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to watch that. That's a great.
you
That
can
song
hear
is
all
fantastic.
these songs on my YouTube channel. I do all these songs on the YouTube channel, and I'd love to have you guys go check out some songs.
I subscribed.
Oh, thank you. That's great. You
Yeah.
and my mom.
Aw,
Hey.
I'm so happy.
I knew your mom and I had a lot in common.
You know it. You know it.
I'm gonna share that in the chat one more time so you guys can go to
Oh,
the
great. Thank
YouTube
you.
channel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been just an utter delight.
Oh,
Jeff,
for me too, you
like-
guys. I sure appreciate it.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad that you're doing well. I'm so glad you weathered you have weathered the pandemic thus far well.
And you as well. Thank
Have you gotten
very much.
vaccinated yet?
I have been.
Yes.
Yep. I can hear Bill Gates clearly now. No problem.
So it's working. Great.
It's working great. Yeah.
as intended. It's a feature, not a bug.
No, I did. I got the Moderna, and
Nice.
I had a little bit of side effects. I was really tired for a couple days after. They call it the pajama day.
Yeah.
Nice.
But so I had a pajama day, and but I feel great. I feel great, and I felt safe
Good.
out around people yesterday. I really did. Being out there, I thought I'd recoil a little bit when people came close, but it didn't feel that way. It felt good.
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm very glad, and I'm glad that I'm glad you were able to be productive, and very, very heartened to hear that you're back at it.
I know, and I'm Ed's here in Arizona, but I'm heading back to San Diego this week, so let's get together, and I'm vaccinated. You're vaccinated. Let's go have a coffee or a beer or whatever.
Love it. Yeah. Come see us or come up to the studio or whatever. We'll hang out.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Me
That's
too.
so awesome. Thanks again, Jeff. It's so great to talk to you, and
Thank you.
yeah, hopefully we'll see you very, very soon. We would
I
like
can't
to
wait. I know it won't be too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Take care.
All right, you too. My
Bye.
pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
He is so funny.
Yeah.
I haven't
Like-
laughed that hard in a while.
Incredible. Yeah, he's like super witty.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know. I know. Yeah, definitely check out Jeff Berkley and Berkeley Hart.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about we've actually had quite a few of the San Diego musicians on this podcast, and one of the things that I love about that is they all know each other, and they're all, it's just a really lovely music scene there.
Yeah, it is like it's a good community. Like I
Yeah.
was, and you do kind of, even though like San Diego County is just humongous, like, it's a massive, massive county. So it's really nice to see that there is still a good community of musicians around there, despite the place being so gigantic.
Totally.
A nice close knit group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. That we have somewhat weaseled our way into a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of
No,
by
but yeah, we-
brute force.
Yeah. We're coming in hot. Yeah, I'm really excited to check out the studio. So Ed, maybe you want to come with me in your next trip to San Diego too.
Yeah,
So.
that would be awesome. I would love to see that studio, especially you said they have a
Yeah.
Neve console. Like, oh, that's
I
exciting.
know. Maybe we'll see if we can record something there. You never know.
But I wanted to share a video. This is Berkeley playing a song that, curiously, has the same name as a song that Delcoa played.
Right. Oh yeah, I
Back in
wanted
the
to
day.
tell Jeff that. Yeah, that's so he sent us one called Conversations with the Moon.
Yeah, I saw that name. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's I was in a band called Delcoa, as most of our listeners know, for many years, and one of the songs that Jay Allen wrote is called Conversations with the Moon, and we released it on our Delcoa album, so called Simply Listen, the second one. So I'm very interested to hear this this version of Conversations with the Moon.
All right, I'll go ahead and play that for you right now.
Again, I can't tell you what it's meant. Having you here tonight, and those of you who are always here, it means the world. The moon goes up 2 hemispheres. The same light there is glowing here. 'Neath the hunter's guide, I'll meet you there. Not so cold, not so scared. So dial me up and tune me in, and I'll be back home again. It don't matter where I'm bound. When the sky is black and you are blue, we'll have an incandescent view, and I'll be right there next to you. Conversations with sound of your voice, it gives you away. But it'll be alright by the light of day. Baby, please don't cry, 'cause I'm in the sky, and I'll be home by and by. So dial me up and tune me in, and I'll be back home again. It don't matter where I'm bound. When the sky is black and you are blue, we'll have an incandescent view. I'll be right there next to you. I know you're looking out your window, and I'm on this long and lonesome road. The man in the moon will patch you through. Just hold the phone up to your soul. Dial me up and tune me in, and I'll be back home again. It don't matter where I'm bound. When the sky is black and you are blue, we'll have an incandescent view. I'll be right there next to you. Right there next to you. Conversations with the moon.
So that was Conversations with the Moon, filmed from the moon, it looks like.
Yeah, it's cracking up over the lasers here.
It looks so good. It looks so good.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed.
I am too, and I'm a little jealous.
Yeah,
I want-
exactly.
I want lasers. I mean, I was proud. I mean, obviously, I'm in Arizona, so it's bright in here. But I was proud of myself for like lighting my room up blue.
Oh, yeah,
the Ramona.
With
But
the LED lights.
This makes me a little shamed that I'm proud of that.
Yeah, we're going to have to up our laser game now, I think.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God, we could be the podcast with the laser, the laser show.
So yes, please do check out Jeff Berkley's solo stuff. Check out Berkeley Heart stuff. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
Fantastic songwriters, fantastic musicians, and just wonderful people.
Yeah.
Besides, so
Yep.
now we've got a little show and tell to do.
Yep.
And this was Ashley's photo this week.
Yeah, and I almost forgot that it was my photo this week, so I had to kind of jump on finding one real quick. And this was the first one that came across my eyes when I just did a quick search. I just like searched Witherword on Facebook, and I was like, oh, this is perfect because I love this story and I love the people in it.
Yeah.
This is the box. So that's Paul and Sarah. and their daughters. Well, Emily and I can't remember the name of their other daughter. Do
Yeah,
you
I can't
remember? I know Emily because I'm actually teaching her music lessons over Zoom twice a month.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been doing it. It was a Christmas present from her dad, which he got her like a package, and then
Nice.
she's kind of continued on. We've been writing some really nice songs together.
Cool.
And but yeah, it's cool because this was, I believe, the fourth concert they saw us at, or
I
maybe
think
it was
so.
the third.
It was something like that.
But we met them in.
Was it Montana?
No, I feel like there was one before that.
Oh, maybe.
Or
it was
maybe
at
what?
Dakota.
Oh God, I can't remember. Yeah, we were on tour, and it was just the weirdest thing because we met them at a show, and we're like, yeah, well, and they were on a road trip, like a cross country road trip, and we were like, well, next stop we're going to. It must have been Montana. We were at Lewis and Clark
Yeah, I think
Brewery.
it was Lewis and Clark.
So this must be the third time we saw them because it was Lewis and Clark Brewery, and then they were like, "Oh, we love your music, blah blah blah," and we're like, "That's cool. Well, we're off to Seattle next to play at some shows in Seattle," and they were like, "That's so weird because we're going to Seattle," and it turns out they were going to be in Seattle the day we performed, so they showed up at Tim's Tavern, and then they lived in San Francisco, or they were going to visit their daughter in San Francisco, one of those, and they're like, and they ended up coming and bringing their daughters a third time to see us in Petaluma
At Lagunitas.
at Lagunitas Brewery,
Yeah.
and that's where this photo was taken. And they're just the nicest people.
Yeah.
And Ed may not know this, but Paul's actually an incredible guitarist.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah, he's really good. Like Emily shared, I was like, send me some of your live stuff so I can, kind of hear you. And so she sent me a bunch of live examples. She's like, yeah, this is my band I'm actually in with my dad, and so no, they're on the East Coast. I don't remember why they were in San Francisco. I can't keep this timeline. The locations are fuzzy to me, but he was playing. I was like, your dad's an amazing guitar player. Oh my God.
That's cool.
Yeah. But you can see the little Witherword sign behind us underneath the Lagunitas sign. So we they jumped on stage with us, I think, to grab this photo. And it was a really cool time. I think that's probably the record for, so we had or what do you want to call this? Like our
Accidental stalkers.
Yeah, sure. That works.
Coincidental
Groupies.
stalkers.
Yeah, I don't know. What are the people who follow Fish around, like the band Fish?
I don't know. I didn't even heard of bandfish until you said it just now.
Really?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Fish?
Oh, that.
PHI.
The bandfish.
The band Fish. They had followers that would just go, or
the Grateful
deadheads.
Dead,
Yeah, people that love the music enough to follow them from city to city
Oh,
to
I
city.
don't
This is
know.
the closest we ever got to that.
Yeah, that's true.
Besides our parents.
Or significant others.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess Brad doesn't count either.
Yeah, they were so nice. It was just one of those funny, coincidental things.
Yeah.
That they just happened to be in the same place we were 3 or 4 shows in a row
Yeah. Yeah.
on a tour.
Yeah.
So that was a wonderful memory. I'd kind of forgotten about that. That they had seen us at Lagunitas.
I kind of did too, honestly. I mean, I remember. I just didn't remember the place. Again, this whole thing's fuzzy, but when I saw that photo, it all came flooding back. I'm like, aha! But one of the things that's so cool about our travels, and one of the things I miss the most, is all the people you meet along the way. Mm-hmm. So this is just a nice reminder of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, they're witherheads. There you go. So that's about all I've got. Just a quick little fun story for
Yeah.
you. Quick little fun show and tell.
That's a nice memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it for today's show. We want to thank our wonderful guest, Jeff Berkley.
Oh my God.
Again,
one of the best.
Yeah, that was really fantastic.
Yeah.
interview. So check him out at jeffberkley.com or berkleyhart.com. That's HART.
Yeah,
and,
Berkley.
Yeah, Ley. And we want to again thank our sponsor, Electro Voice. Find out more about their products at electrovoice.com. And as always, thanks to our lovely patrons who directly support this podcast. You can find out more about supporting us directly on Patreon through patreon.com/crimesagainstfolk. And what do you got there, song? Thinking, if anything.
I have my guitar, so I got that far.
Same.
I'm holding it. Let's see. Yeah, sorry if you guys tried to show up to the pre-show. We had some technical difficulties, which ended up, of course, being like the most obvious fix ever, which is why which of course. But yeah, so sorry. We tried. I even had Aunt Millie all geared up to sing with me, but we just couldn't get it together in time. So anyway.
No worries.
Oh, yeah, what are we going to do for a song? Let's see. Why is this always so hard? And I usually start thinking about it during the show, but honestly, I was just so enthralled with Jeff Berkley, and I didn't think about a song. Let's do what do you have something in mind, Ed?
Do you feel like one of those days?
Oh. Yeah.
Or is there something else you're thinking of?
No, I literally, like, I'm going completely blank on songs right now. Like, I'm having a full panic attack because I can't think of a single song that we do. So anything you throw out there is great. But I do need the chords, which I'm trying to pull up right now. Da, da, da. It's coming. Here we go. Okay. Can you hear my guitar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you plugged in?
I am, but it doesn't, I don't hear it. There we go.
Yeah, it sounds okay to me.
1, 2, 3, 4. One of those days. I need a new job, 'cause this one's on its way out. I need a prayer, God, to find myself in all this till I figure it in. I think too much, I talk too much, I hear but I don't listen enough. But hey, it's just one of those days, and I'll have faith I'll be okay, 'cause I know love, I know strength until tomorrow is on its way. It's just one of those days. It's just one of those days. I'll buy a glass heart for somebody else to break instead. I'll write a new song, it's already stuck in my head. It's just one of those days.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like the way we do that song now.
I know. we should record it.
Yeah.
There's songs we should record.
Oh, sure. There's lots of those.
A few.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in, signing on,
Yeah.
and checking us out. We'll be back next week
Yep.
with another episode for you. So until then, stay safe and get vaccinated if you haven't already.
Yep.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you guys, and thanks again to Jeff Berkley for being
Yeah.
an amazing guest.
Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.